Howdy, y'all. Hey, man, I remember sitting in the Red Roof Inn after retirement, staring at the walls, thinking, how in the hell did I spend 30 years serving my country and still feel financially limited? And maybe you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because the truth is, a pension can help you survive, keep the lights on, but it doesn't automatically create freedom. Nobody tells you that part. Nobody tells you that after the uniform comes off, you can still feel stuck. You can still hesitate before booking trips, still stress over spending, still feel like your life revolves around a fixed number every month. And for me, that realization hit hard because retirement was supposed to feel different, a lot different than what I'm living. If we haven't met before, my name's Dave. My friends call me Big Country. I spent 30 years in the Coast Guard and I retired as CWO4. And like a lot of enlisted veterans, I thought retirement would really feel like freedom. I thought I'd have more control, more options, and more breathing room. But what I found was something most retirees never say out loud. Stability isn't the same thing as freedom. And that's really what this presentation is about. Not hype, not some flashy get rich online nonsense. This is about how enlisted veterans are creating income control after retirement without selling to friends, without chasing people, and without feeling like they have to start their lives over from scratch. None of that stuff. Because here's the lie most of us were told. We were taught retirement was the finish line. Put in years, get the pension, slow down. But what happens when you finally get there and realize you still feel financially restricted? What happens when you realize you still check prices, still hesitate before spending money, still delay trips, still feel tapped? This doesn't feel like freedom. And honestly, for a while, I felt frustrated with myself for even thinking that way. Because I'd hear, you should just be grateful. And look, man, I am grateful. But being grateful doesn't mean you stop wanting more control over your life, especially after sacrificing decades in the service. And that's when I realized something that changed everything for me. Retirement wasn't the end of the mission. It was the beginning of the second one, a mission to take back control. Not through another job, not through grinding 60 hours a week, not through some complicated business, but through building income differently, leveraged income, recurring income, income that wasn't tied directly to my time every single day. And once I understood that shift, everything started changing for me. What I eventually built is what I now call the second mission system. And it's built specifically for enlisted veterans who still want purpose, still want growth, still want freedom, but don't want to become salespeople or internet gurus. The system has 3 core phases. We're going to start with phase 1, of course. The first phase is what I call the identity reset, because one of the hardest parts of retirement isn't financial, it's psychological. Your structure changes, your mission changes, your sense of momentum changes. A lot of veterans never talk about this, but after service, it's easy to start operating smaller than you used to. Smaller goals, smaller plans, smaller expectations. The identity reset is about breaking out of that mindset and realizing your best years didn't end when the uniform came off. The second phase is mission-based income. This is where most people get skeptical because the second they hear income opportunity, they think, I'm not chasing people. I'm not selling to my friends. I'm not becoming one of those guys online. And honestly, I felt the same exact way. What changed for me was discovering a model built around leverage and duplication. Instead of pressure and convincing, simple systems, simple conversations, simple tools, no hard closing, no hype, just helping the right people who already want more freedom for themselves. And finally, we come to the last one. The third phase is what really changed my life. This is the income lock-in phase. Because random income isn't freedom, predictable income is. This phase is about stacking income streams on top of your pension. So your life stops revolving around one fixed number every month. And for me, that is where the pressure finally started lifting because I stopped asking, can I afford this? And started asking, do I want to do this? That's a completely different life. Yes, it is. Come on now. Now, maybe you're sitting there thinking, Dave, I'm not tech savvy, or I don't have experience doing this sort of stuff. Or maybe I've tried other things before. Me too. I get it. Bitcoin, buy this stock. Yeah, I've done things. Most veterans I talk to feel exactly the same way at first. But this isn't about becoming somebody different. It's about using the discipline, leadership, consistency, and work ethic you already built during service in a model that finally gives you leverage. And honestly, if you can survive military life, you can absolutely learn this. Shoot, yeah, come on. Imagine what life feels like when your pension becomes the floor instead of the ceiling. You stop stressing over every expense. You can travel without guilt, help your family more, create options, and wake up feeling like you still have purpose. That's what this thing is really about. Not hype, freedom, control, ownership, and building a life that finally feels aligned with the sacrifices you made. So here's what I want to invite you to do next. If anything I shared today hit home for you, then I'd encourage you to schedule a discovery call with me. We'll talk through and walk through where you're at financially, what your goals actually look like, whether this is a fit for you, and what your own second mission could look like. Hey man, no pressure, no weird sales tactics, just a real conversation. Because this isn't for everybody, I'm not going to lie, but for the right veterans. This can completely change what retirement feels like. So, here's what we're looking at. At the end of the day, you've got a decision to make. You can keep living around a fixed number, or you can start building real control over your future. The uniform comes off, but the mission didn't end. Maybe This is just the beginning of the second one. Click the button below to get your orders and schedule a discovery call with me. Y'all be blessed. Have a great one.